Alright, in today's video we're going to talk about plateaus and how you could get out of them. There could be things that you're not even thinking about, so you want to make sure that you stay tuned through this. This is going to be a voiceover. I'm going to be training, I'm going to be hitting legs, so yes, you're going to get a leg workout, but during the voiceover is when I'm going to give you like the key nuggets that is going to help you get out of that plateau when it comes to your training. And just make sure that you're taking notes. If you have any questions, make sure you comment below. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy the video. Before we get to the video, I want to tell you about me real quick and who I am. I'm Nick Andrade, just so you know how to say my last name. A lot of people butcher it. I'm a strength coach, and I'm dedicated to helping you with your training and overall lifestyle. So if you're new to my channel, I'm looking forward to helping you with whatever it is when it comes to your training. And remember, on Mondays I'm starting something different. Mondays are going to be called Mobility. I'm having a hard time saying that, Mobility Monday. So we'll be doing that on Mondays. Now we're going to go into a little voiceover where I'm going to share my screen on the computer, and these are tips that I want you to think about when it comes to your training. These are things that maybe you aren't thinking about if you're in a plateau. And we have about 6 tips here, and we're going to go through them. I'm trying to go through them a little bit quicker, but I'm going to try to give you a lot of stuff that you could use, especially this one website that I use for a lot of information that's very reputable. It's actually one of the best strength conditioning coaches in the world, but he's no longer with us, sadly. But he left a lot of good information behind, and people took over their website, and a lot of these fantastic strength coaches are taking it over with many other people, and they're just making it a great place to gain knowledge. So we're going to go right into a video recording on the computer. I'm going to go over the first one with you, which is super important. So I'm going to hit record here. Alright, so first one you're going to see here is we're going to go over Mesocycle. So Mesocycle is a training block, 3 to 4 weeks, and this is something that you need to think about when it comes to your training. Are you sticking to the same exact exercises throughout each week, or are you changing it up constantly? And that's something that we don't want to do, is constantly changing up the exercise, because it takes your body like a week to adapt to the same movement pattern. So, and to get that stimulus from that and be ready for the next workout. So we'll see here, this is this accumulation one. This is more of a fat loss program, but the person here is lifting weights, and this program is hard as shit. So the first one is full body 2, and you just look at the exercises for a minute. Look at A1, A2. It's a barbell back squat, and then right after they hit that for their 10 reps, 4-second eccentric, a minute rest, and then they go right into A2, seated row, close grip, neutral grip. So they're doing 12 reps, 3-second negative, 1 minute rest, and then they go back to A1. So just remember that for full body 2. And then full body 1, we're doing a dumbbell alternating lunge on small box, 10 to 12 reps, and then rest minute, and then go into a bent over row, and then hit that for 12, 3-second negative, rest a minute, and then go back to A1. And now look at, we're repeating full body 2 again for, this is day 6. I don't know what day of the week that is, but anyway, this is what they're doing. Look at the workout, same as the first day 1, right? And then we go into week 2, we're seeing the frequencies changes. So we're seeing that we're actually hitting full body 1 workout twice, and we're hitting full body 2 once. Up week 1 we hit full body 2 twice, and then week 3, this is 3-week mesocycle. So week 3 we're hitting full body 2 again twice, and if we wanted to, we could go into full body 4 and match it, where then we hit full body 1 twice, just like we did this week 2. But usually with this work program, 3 weeks is enough for them, and we don't need to go into another week to repeat it. Usually that 4th week we see them getting bored, or they're not as motivated to come in and train. So that's something that we want to look at. And that's tip number 1, is planning your mesocycle, your training blocks. Schemes, and we're following 1 rep continuum. So we got relative strength, you'll see at the top, 1 through 5. Functional hypertrophy, 6 through 8. Hypertrophy, 9 through 12. Strength endurance, 13 through 20. So I hardly touch maybe strength endurance. I'm always sticking through 1 rep through 12 reps, and that's what I do. So, and then you can kind of see like the different rep schemes below here, which is pretty cool. So you know, take a look at this, but remember your goal. So if your goal is adding muscle or hypertrophy bodybuilding, you want to stick with 9 through 12 reps. This is for your like exercises below your A series lift. You'll see on, for example, we'll go back to that Mesocycle one. You'll see A1, A2 are priority lifts. So we're going to, for example, maybe do 8 to 10 reps, and then the rest is going to be more volume, 10, 12, 12 reps. And then we kind of undulate. We could talk about that more, but rep schemes, again, whatever your goal is. So if your macro goal, we think year, is adding muscle, we want to make sure that we're kind of undulating between functional hypertrophy and hypertrophy underneath your A series lifts. A series, we could go into 6 reps, 7 reps, 8 reps, depending on if we want to build up more strength at a lift that maybe we're lacking strength in, because then when we go into that hypertrophy phase, we have the right amount of strength to go into more volume hypertrophy, adding more volume to that area that we need, that we're looking for, in order to produce more muscle. So just remember that, like, rep scheme matters, but think about your rep scheme for your first 2 lifts should be on a lift that you want to get better at, that you want to get stronger in, and then below that you could just blast those muscles, movements, whatever they are that you want to work on and see more development at. That's where you could kind of go into more volume if your macro goal is hypertrophy. So that's my macro goal. Is, for example, I'll do like a back squat for 4x8 for 4-0x0 tempo, and then I'll go into the B series, C series, 10 to 12 reps, just because I know long term I want to grow my legs, so I know more volume is going to allow me to do that. And then I undulate, so I go up and down with reps for each mesocycle, just like what we went over. So that's number 2, is rep scheme. All right, next one we're gonna go into, and this is huge. I bet you don't even think about this, but rest periods between sets is dictating what type of energy system that you're trying to go after. So this next one, pay attention to the website I'm using, because I love using these guys. I was just talking about it a little bit ago, but let's go to the screen record again. So here's who I use for information that I'm looking for, is Pelican Group. This is the first one you'll see, and then there's be another one you'll see too. And we're going to talk about rest. So rest is very important between sets, and they dictate what type of energy system you're going after: strength, hypertrophy, strength, endurance, whatever they are. So here's what we see. So what is the purpose of your workout? You see this right here. You'll see me highlight it. What is the purpose of this workout? So is it to design strength, muscle mass, or muscular endurance? It's hard to say when we don't know the rest between sets. So that's what you gotta decide. What are you trying to get after? And this is for your very first 2 lifts. So you'll see here, strength for a lunge, 5 to 8 reps, 5 sets, and then you're seeing the tempo 3-0-1-1, and the rest is 240 seconds. So that's what, 3 minutes? 3-minute rest. And then now you look for hypertrophy. 5 to 8 reps, same, 5 sets, same, 3-0-1-0 or 3-0-1-1, same tempo, and then look at the rest now. It's 90 seconds, so it's dropping. So the reason being is, the higher the rest, the more you're going to be able to recover between sets, and being able, like, we're trying to get the nervous system to almost fully recover before we go into that next set. That's if we're going into strength. Now, if we're doing hypertrophy, we're not trying to fully recover, because we're not trying to fatigue the nervous system out as much. We're just trying to produce as much volume, trying to get some lactic acid going to help produce more, growth hormone. So you'll see here, for developing maximal strength, which generally involves using weights that are 80 to 100% your 1 rep max. rest between sets. Here's one. However, the plus side of shorter rest intervals is that they produce more of a hormonal response, just like I said earlier. That's how that can strongly influence fat loss. So this is great. So if you want to, just like the program I showed earlier, here the rest between sets is a minute, and the progression for that is probably decreasing rest. And that's what you see right here is germ body comps use shorter rest intervals, usually 30 seconds or less between sets. Getting more specific, here's what you need to know about the rest intervals affecting your training. For developing maximal strength, we talked about 80 to 100% of one repetition. So they're saying, depending on the exercise, complete recovery between sets takes about 4 to 5 minutes. So for compound movements with my clients, I always do 3 minutes. I don't do 5 minutes unless we're really trying to focus on strength 1 through 5, probably 1 through 3, so we're close to that 1 rep max. So I'm probably gonna have them rest a little bit longer, especially if they're a stronger person, they're gonna need a longer rest period. So here's like a downside of additional rest time for adequate recovery is that it can make workouts exceptionally longer. So if you're in the gym longer than an hour, then you're not doing yourself. You're not going to get the benefit out of your workout, because when we go up longer an hour, cortisol's going up, and we peaked out at testosterone about 45-50 minutes. So I want to make sure that we don't go longer than that. All right, number 4, we're going to go into tempo, time under tension. I know there's a lot of saying out there that time under tension does no good for muscle growth, but I'm gonna play devil advocate here and say it does. And the benefits beyond muscle growth is something that you need, especially if you want to continue training for a long period of time. Tempo is great for strengthening the tendons, so it's not just good for muscles. It's great for strengthening tendons, increasing range of motion at a certain joint that maybe you're restricted at, and especially if you want to be more functional in your everyday life, as in playing sports or something that's not weightlifting related. You want to be strong, full range, and you want your tendons to be strong. So time under tension is super important here, and that's what we're going to see right here. Here's another source that I use for information about training, anything training related, is you'll see right here, I'll highlight it, is PelotonPerformance.com. They're fantastic too. And you could go in the search bar and search in whatever you want, and they'll come up with articles. So right now you see, use tempo training to build more strength and muscle. What is tempo training? Tempo dictates time under tension, duration that the muscles are being stimulated during a lift. So for instance, performing a set of 10 repetition squat at 180 pounds, 1 second down, 1 second up is only 30 seconds of work. Or the time is totally different. So you'll see here the difference in the time muscle exposed to weight tension. The first variation takes 20 seconds, while the one with the 4-second eccentric takes 50 seconds work. So almost a minute of work for 10 reps versus a one with 30 seconds. So yes, there's going to be more time under tension on the muscle, and it's going to be a lot more fatiguing, and that weight that you're probably used to doing for 10 reps that might be easy with no tempo at all is going to be a lot harder, and it's going to create more of a stimulus on the area that you want to see growth at. So tempo is a big thing that a lot of people are missing, and a lot of people don't like it, especially in the bodybuilding world. I think bodybuilding world, they could use it, especially in the beginning of their workout, just to strengthen a certain muscle, especially tendons. I know tendons are a big thing, especially I see a lot of people getting hurt in the fitness industry, like Alex Eubank. I remember seeing him hurt in his shoulder and his knee. Like, dude's having, I think he had shoulder injury, don't quote me on that, but it's because of probably lack of tendon strength, lack of rotator strength, and just not prioritizing the little things that are going to help you move the weight more, because the stabilizer muscles are what's going to shut you down first before a big muscle. So now let's go back to tempo. So in case, let's go overcome strength plateaus. This is especially what you want to hear. So training control the eccentric tempos are a great, here I'm just going to highlight this, great tool for establishing baseline strength. But once you've got several years of training behind you, you need to find other ways of stimulating your neuromuscular system. Incorporating high velocity, ballistic tempos into your routine will maximize strength gains. So here's an example. For example, one study found that compared to going through the motions without a specific tempo, athletes who lifted as fast as they could improve maximal bench press strength by 10% after only 6 training sessions. So this website's cool. They show a lot. I'm not going to go through all this, but I want you to see, like look at all this: improved body composition, increased muscle gains. This is everything that you need to know on tempo, and then it's backed by research. Overcoming strength plateaus, developing baseline strength. It's fantastic, and they teach you how to read tempo. First number dictates the eccentric. The second one dictates an isometric pause after you to perform the eccentric, and then the third number is the concentric. So maybe doing a bicep curl is the concentric. The fourth number is the pause before you repeat the repetition. So it's pretty cool. You learn a lot here, and I'm not going to give you something that you don't learn from. Use this website. They're fantastic. Search whatever you want in there, and I'm telling you, you'll find it. All right, next one is compound movements, isolation exercises. So this is good if you are training like a bodybuilder or you want to switch things up a little bit. This is another article on this type of lifting too, and it's the same people, Pollock and Performance. So let's record the screen again, pop it up. All right, this one's really sweet, so you're gonna get a lot more. I typed in compound movements, prioritizing them first, and this came up. Great article on, again, Pollock and Performance. So it's cool. Like number one, you could go through all this. You get some good insight on this. Isolation movements often don't transfer well to performance and compound exercises. That's cool. Like, and we could go through more of this. I'm a big fan in doing lateral raises. I'm sure every bodybuilder loves lateral raises. So it's good to hear this when isolation exercises. Isolation. So isolation meaning focus on one muscle group at a time. It's not doing maybe single joint, multi-joint movement. So where is it? I'm trying to find it. I just found it. Oh, here we go. Workouts using isolation exercises. I'm going to highlight this. Require more variety. So you could read this. I'll read it out loud though. I know you're going to read it, but isolation exercises require more exercises be performed, you still need to plan carefully. So for example, I love lateral raises. So one arm lateral raise with the dumbbells is good exercise for the medial delts, but the primary stress is felt at the mid-range of the movement. To work the areas of the strength curve, you could also include lean away lateral raise, which is going to work top range, and then you could do one arm lateral raise with low cables, which is going to do more bottom range. That's where the resistance curve is the most. That's pretty cool. So this information from this website, you could type in anything. It's awesome. So this is prioritizing big movements. Compound movements are usually less stressful on the body than isolation movements. Exercises such as squats, cleans can be performed year-round because the stress of these compound exercises are distributed over many muscle groups. Isolation movements, in contrast, focus the stress on an area of the body, and as such need to be varied more frequently to avoid overuse injuries for advanced trainees. So good general guidelines to change isolation exercises every 6 training sessions. So for example, I like to use this analogy, not even analogy, I'm just gonna stop recording, is bicep curls, hand placement. I see a lot of people doing supinated grip, so your standard bicep curl with palm facing you, that supinated grip. I see a lot of overuse of that, and that creates elbow pain just because of it's only focusing on more of the bicep and brachii, so that's more short head of the bicep, and it depends on what angle your elbow is in line with your torso. That's going to dictate the strength curve of the movement. So we want to make sure that, just like the article said, we don't want to overuse the same movement pattern of the movement. So for example, if I did a bicep curl standing supinated grip, I don't want to do that strength, that angle for another 3 weeks. So I might progress it to a Scott curl, or now my arm, it's a preacher curl, your arm's in front, and you could change the grip up. You could actually maybe do more of a neutral grip. Now you're getting more brachial, radialis involved, which is forearm muscle too. So now you're strengthening more of the elbow flexors, forearm, and that's going to help offset that strength and balance with the elbow, the pain that maybe you're having. It's maybe a strength and balance issue at the elbow flexor. So that's something that you could do. Just prioritize hand placement. Don't change it up every week. Change it up going into a new phase. So your 4th week should be a new week of training. Just like I said, you don't want to do a program for 4 weeks, because you tend to get bored of it, and chances are you already adapted to the stimulus and you need to change it up a little bit. All right, last but not least, very important again, this is number 6. This is going to be nutrition and sleep and how very important they are again. Poliquin performance again, fantastic. So when we think nutrition, sleep, I think recovery. So you want to train hard, but you want to recover harder. So here's a little bit of recovery strategies: foam roll, massage, ice bath, infrared sauna, anything that's going to get you more in a parasympathetic state, which is more a rest digest state, which is cortisol's down, you're able to rest, you're able to recover fast. So this is just another one for here's just tips. They have cool tips on here that we don't think of. So eat carbs at night. It's cool. You've heard this before, but it's worth reiterating here. When choosing high glycemic carbs, pick whole healthy options such as fruit, whole grain sweet potatoes, or minimally processed treats like chocolate. Avoid super refined junk food that may lead to blood sugar crash and poor sleep overall. So that plays a role there. Number 2, you see this: take bedtime whey protein with lactobacillus. This is cool. Protein is the holy grail for recovery. Obviously, we know that. Facilitating muscle repair, supporting the immune system. It can improve sleep. Whey protein with a lactobacillus, I'm not saying that right, has shown to improve sleep quality by 13% and sleep quality by 11%. You could read more on this too. And I just typed in nutrition for better sleep and recovery. That's what you could type in on this website if you want to know more about that. Let's see, support melatonin with food. So we know what the DOMS is: delayed onset muscle soreness, which usually is your body trying to adapt to the stimulus that you created. And inositol is fantastic for GABA, so a neurotransmitter, something you could look at too. Glycine, I use glycine. So glycine is a form of amino acid that helps calming effect of the brain. It may help you stay asleep by lowering your core body temperature. Research in people with sleep issues show that taking 3 grams of glycine before bed decreases how long it takes to fall asleep, enhances sleep quality, and less daytime sleepiness, so feeling groggy and all that. So glycine is super important for that. But yeah, this is awesome. And then a big thing with sleep, if you didn't know, that sleep is a prime time for your body to repair, right, and rejuvenate itself. So everything that you've done during the day, your body's trying to repair and recover from that, and trying to take in everything that you went through that day. So immune system, right? Immune system's huge. You can't train if your immune system's shot. So the immune system revs up, it recharges. Think of your immune system as a battery. At sleep, when we sleep recharges that immune system and gets it ready to go. All right, so hopefully that you guys have been liking the video so far. And remember, this is just the things we went over, is prioritize rest between sets, your rep scheme, prioritizing following a program for 3 to 4 weeks. That's your mesocycle. Prioritize big movements first in the beginning, and then prioritize tempo and nutrition and sleep. So the biggest ones that I want you to think about is think about where you're struggling at first, and then fix those areas. So for example, if you're new to tempo, try throwing tempo in your workouts. So maybe in the beginning of your workouts, try doing tempo and stick with a 3-0-1-0 tempo or 4-0-1-0 tempo. The first number is the eccentric part, and go back in the video where we went over tempo. It kind of explains what it is and how to use it during movement. If you're struggling with maybe sleeping and nutrition, hammer those, get those down first. Sleep and nutrition is going to allow you to break through plateaus faster than prioritizing any type of workout. You want to get your sleep and your nutrition down first, and then we could talk about more structured programs based on your goals and everything. But those are the big things that I tell all my clients is work on their sleep and their nutrition, and that's what I want you to work on, is that right there. That's usually everybody's issue, is discipline with the nutrition, and then getting to bed at a good time and making sure that you're sleeping through the night too. And then lastly, I just want to talk about rest between sets. Prioritize your rest for upper body. So if you're doing like a bench press and a pull up, and it's A1 is your bench press, A2 is your pull up, you're gonna rest 90 seconds after each of those exercises. So 90 seconds after the bench press, 90 seconds after the pull up, and you're going back and forth until you complete 3 to 4 sets of whatever of what you're doing for bench press and your pull up. So that's 90 seconds. And then for your lower body movements, your squats, your deadlifts, front squats, you want to rest 3 minutes between sets. That's just for strength. That's a standard rest protocol we follow when we do those type of compound lifts when it comes to lower body movements. Now we could play with rest when we're doing something else, like that GBC that you saw earlier for fat loss. They were doing a back squat, but rest was a minute between sets. So we're going to enter more hypertrophy, more volume, and we know that strength isn't going to be the main goal, because we're doing a lot of volume. Rest period is short, so for us to do strength we need to be able to rest longer, just to be able to provide more neural drive in the movement. And then think about it, when your reps are lower, technically you're going to be able to go heavier in your lift, so you're going to want to rest a little bit longer. And remember, whatever your goal is, that's what you want to make sure that you're doing, is resting. So if you want to increase strength, get stronger, rest longer between sets for your first exercises. These are the lifts that you want to get better at. So squats, deadlifts, rest 3 minutes. Bench press, pull-ups, overhead press, incline press, dips, rest 90 seconds if you want to get better at, strength-wise. But 90 seconds is a protocol that I follow always for those upper body movements, just because I'm not really trying to do anything like big yet, like not like a huge hypertrophy program yet where rest is short. That's something like I can program maybe a lateral raise, then right from there go into an overhead press, so like a pre-exhaust. But these are things later down the line. I just want you to get used to tracking your rest between sets, get really consistent on that, and then when you do this, you'll notice that your workouts will get done faster within that 50 to hour range. That's what we're talking about. So now that we're at the end of the video, I hope you do leave a comment below, like, subscribe. It's going to help me as a smaller YouTuber, and it's going to help me with my family. This is something that I'm trying to just do a lot more of, so I could help my family kind of get off the ground and running. Our goal is to eventually move to Florida. So I know if I'm able to do that, I'm obviously going to be working somewhere out there, doing online, of course, but potentially I want to open a place. That'd be pretty cool. So I know with your help, you're going to be able to help me do that. But yeah, if there's anything that I missed on, comment below. And this is my first time doing a video structured like this, where there's a workout and then over it I'm doing a voiceover and we're going over stuff. So if you like this type of style video, let me know. If you don't, let me know. I appreciate it. I'm just trying new things, trying to be more creative when I do it. Other than that, I hope you appreciate the video, and stay tuned for the next coming video.